the Musgrove area, just to the west of 3510. All right, so kids, if you're watching, you're going to be fine. All we need to do is simply get inside our safe place and stay there until the threat passes. This line, though, would indicate that there is a possibility that we do have at least a unconfirmed sighting of a funnel cloud or a tornado within this cell. There's FM 1519 north, so I need you, if you live near there and in Newsom and in Leesburg, to be in your safe place right now. Also in Pineview, just go to your safe place, take along your CBS19 mobile app, and then follow along on the coverage that we are providing for you as this tornado warned storm moves through here. Again, it's just to the southeast of Musgrove. But even if you live in Musgrove, I'd probably go to my safe place for the time being. Winnsboro, this storm passed by you, likely with some scary looking clouds. As it moved by, it was probably lowering. It was starting to tighten up just a little bit, and now it has prompted that tornado warning until 6:15 for Camp, Franklin, Upshur, and Wood County. So let's zoom this out a little bit and give you a timeline on where this storm is headed in particular. And we'll really want to concentrate on that rotation. What we're looking at here is storm relative velocity. So $1 million word there to simply mean that this red, those are the precipitation or the raindrops inside that thunderstorm moving away, the green moving back toward the Shreveport radar. We're scanning in the sky pretty high, but that is a significant rotation there, and our Titan indicator also tells us that we do have some stronger rotation within that cell. All right, looks like that latest scan weakened it a little bit, but it's moving east 35 miles an hour. So Piney Grove at 5:47, so that's in about 4 minutes from now. So if you live in Piney Grove, please make sure that you are headed to your shelter and staying there. We always say get in, get down, and get covered. So what does that mean, get covered? Well, if you have you go into, say, a closet or something of that nature, and you have a mattress or pillow or something that can protect your head. Even a bike helmet would work in this instance. Toward Pine at about 6 o'clock, Ebenezer around 10 past 6, and Dangerfield at 6:27. So that's giving you 45 minutes lead time on this storm. But again, the latest rotation or the latest scan of the storm, it weakened just a little bit, but that by no means gives us any type of sense of security. It just means that in the latest scan, that rotation weakened a little bit. Oftentimes what can happen is when you have thunderstorms like this, they can reorganize and they can even get a little bit stronger once they sort of go through that recycling phase. And so they'll be ingesting more energy into the storm. So brighter red area here, weaker green area. But again, this yellow, this is the severe thunderstorm warning for Camp, Franklin, Titus, and Wood County. And so that's the actual lines that would tell us that a tornado possible. So inside the red, we don't have any confirmation that we have a tornado on the ground or anything like that, or even sighted at this time. So this would be radar confirmed, and by looking at that radar indicated winds going toward and away from the radar, that's what prompted the severe or the tornado warning for this time. So Pittsburgh and Brumley, please be in your safe place also. We talked about how that storm had just moved east of Musgrove and it was continuing to move to the east. It's western Camp County. So here's Camp County right now, and it's western Camp County, a little portion of Wood County, or Upshur County I should say, and Wood County. But it looks like the rotation itself will soon move out of Wood County, and it'll be northwestern Upshur, and then the majority of Camp County where we'll have to have the biggest concern. Titus County are sitting just to the north of this rotation. I would not expect this to move up to the north. If anything, this may take more of a right-hand turn down toward Upshur County, so keeping an eye on that. But right now, it is moving again to the east at roughly 30 or 35 miles an hour. So let's track that rotation one more time in case you're just joining us. And by the way, if you're also joining us on our CBS19.TV stream, welcome. If you're watching us on Facebook, thanks for checking us out. We'll try to walk you through these severe thunderstorms and these tornado warned storms as they move through East Texas tonight. We've got Pine at 5:59. You have Ebenezer at about 6:08, Lone Star at 6:24 as that storm moves, if it holds together, move all the way out toward Hughes Springs and Lassiter here between now and over the next hour towards 6:45. Of course, we have CBS 19 News at 6 o'clock coming up. and this warning goes until 6:15, so we would be on the air covering CBS 19 News at 6 with this tornado-warned storm. Again, for camp, most of camp, a little portion of Franklin County, but you can see this is sort of a downstream warning here. Franklin is technically not in what we call the polygon or the box, but considering that it could continue to move in this direction, Franklin County safely put into that part of the tornado warning right now. Upshur County also, and that's going to be the northwestern corner of Upshur. Here's Gilmer. Gilmer and Ore City, currently you are not inside the tornado warned area, but you want to be thinking about your shelter. Where are you going in case there is a tornado warning? We always say go to the innermost room of your house, and we also want you on the lowest floor possible. And when you get there, you can take along some pillows or something to cover your head, but you want to put ideally as many walls between you and the outside. So that's why we always say the innermost room. If that's a closet, think about that. You have 4 walls around that closet. You have 4 walls around your house. You've in a sense put 8 walls between you and the outside. So it's better to be inside sheltered than to be outside for sure. We always tell you in the case of mobile homes, if you can get to shelter safely and you are inside a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, it's best to do that before the tornado warning is issued. Once that tornado warning is issued, it's probably not safe to even leave a mobile home. Even those are more susceptible to wind damage. But staying inside the innermost, lowest part of that structure would be safer than trying to run outside and possibly hit by debris. But again, this is just right now radar indicated, and we do not have any indication that the storm is on the ground or anything like that. Savannah Hale joining us in the Weather Center tonight. Savannah, I'm trying to track also from the Weather Service over in Shreveport whether they've got any spotters with eyes on this. I have not seen anything at this time.
Yeah, I haven't either. It looks like that they're saying, like you were saying, radar still indicated at this time. The Upshur County Skywarn has been activated, so that does mean that they do have some people out there seeing if they see anything also. Like Brett was saying, in these last couple of scans, you can see that that green there hasn't been as bright these past 2 scans now. Still some little bit of a brighter red, but that would indicate maybe this a little bit weaker, which could be a good thing. They also put out the National Weather Service from Louisiana put out a special weather statement for Bowie and Cass, saying that this is once again still radar indicated, but the wind gusts are pretty gusty and they're seeing lots of hail up to about nickel sized at this time. So this still goes until 6:15, even though they haven't confirmed anything on the ground. Like Brett was saying, if you're in this polygon, you still want to make sure that you're taking shelter. So if you're in Pittsburgh, Perryville, Brumley, Lafayette, you're downstream, like Brett was also saying, but it's good to be in your safe place just in case, because that severe thunderstorm warning that is on this storm does still have that tornado possible tag. Now, the National Weather Service hasn't said anything yet about continuing this, but again, this is still in that polygon area. We still want to make sure that we're being safe since this was just issued a few minutes ago. So if you're in this polygon area, again, it's good to be in your safe place at this time. We know that there is gusty winds and hail. That has all been confirmed for sure, especially with that last radar or those last couple radar scans where we saw that tighter bit of indication with those greens and reds, but like we were saying, it looks like it's weakened just a little bit in these past couple of scans as of now. Brett, is there anything else that you wanted to?
Yeah, let's turn lightning back on. Oftentimes when we have strong cells like this, we get an indication of powerful thunderstorms with strong updrafts, and you'll see a lot of lightning. Why? Well, of course, the winds inside that thunderstorm are lofting those little raindrops high up into the cloud, and of course they're freezing into little ice pellets or ice crystals. And of course, if you've got ice crystals at the top of the cloud, they're going to be negatively charged, and then closer to the bottom of the cloud where the raindrops are, they'll be positively charged, and then something closer to the ground may be negatively charged. And so you create this channel where lightning can form and follow that channel. And if there's lots of lightning, then we also know there is a lot of moisture inside that cloud. So that's one thing we can check on the power of a thunderstorm. And you can see this one has really gotten stronger here over the last 15 minutes or so. When we were on CBS 19 News at 5, I did mention to the folks in Winnsboro to keep an eye on this storm. It looked like it was tightening and had the possibility of being tornado warned. The National Weather Service then put that severe thunderstorm out and then put a tornado tag on it. And that simply means that there's a tornado possible inside the storm just based on the strength and the level of the rotation. All right, Savannah, let's check out hail and see if there is how much hail is inside that storm. And you can see that hail core was pretty potent as it was coming through Winnsboro. It might have been in the order of about quarters to $half. It looks like it's backed off to nickel size. So that's another thing we can look at is the size of the hailstones inside a thunderstorm. I mean, if they are larger, that means the updrafts inside that thunderstorm are also very strong and can support updrafts. And then if it has updrafts, that air at the top of the thunderstorm is going to be very cold. It can flow out and away from those thunderstorms, and then it can wrap back inside the thunderstorm. And you see what you have going on here. You start to have that circulation within the cell itself, and then rotation can tighten up just a little bit. So Newsom right now seeing some nickel-sized hail. That's the strongest part of the storm, but it's a wide hail swath too here. So Pittsburgh and Harvard, you may have what appears to be almost like it snowed coming up in about a half hour as that hail core moves into those towns with just enough. I mean, it'll be a really loud storm as it comes through in terms of the hail that's falling. Now, nickel-sized hail should not damage vehicles, but if you want to take your vehicle and get it inside in places such as Pine or Pittsburgh, I mean, I say inside, I mean in a garage or a carport or something like that. Of course, nobody's going to put it inside their house, right? But at any rate, you've got a lot of hail headed into those locations, and it could cover the ground to where it looks like it almost snowed. This is one of the threats with these thunderstorms tonight, was the amount of hail. There was terminology going around, sort of a slang terminology in the meteorology world called gorilla hail. And that's when we start talking about tennis to baseball sized hail. That's really large hail. But the storms had that kind of energy with them today in terms of the amount of available energy that was there and the amount of wind difference in speed and direction as we went higher into the atmosphere. So let's zoom this back out. We'll go back to reflectivity here. Let's give everybody sort of the bigger picture. We know we also have that thunderstorm that's up here to the northeast. And look at this, down in Longview, there's a thunderstorm. So we may want to zoom in on that Longview storm right now, even though that's the tornado warned storm. So we'll keep that in our view. But the Longview storm now is beginning to strengthen also with the lightning strikes coming up quite a bit. Lots of lightning there back toward Gladewater, just to the north of Kilgore. In fact, if we have a chance to take the Kilgore camera, you'll see a lot of low gray clouds off in the distance. So you can see those back here. So that's looking into that thunderstorm that is up in parts of Gregg County. In fact, there's the anvil coming off of it. That's pretty impressive. There's a strengthening anvil here. Sometimes the most powerful lightning strikes can come from right in here. Haven't seen any lightning with it yet, but that is a great view of this storm as it moves north of Kilgore. So a great shot there from that camera, giving us a view of that thunderstorm. I'm sure once in a few more minutes, we'll see the lowered part of that storm move right into view here. All right, let's go back to the radar. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But again, there's Kilgore, and that's essentially what we were looking at. All right, so, and then that anvil is shooting out here toward Walker's Mill. So the thunderstorm itself with a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rainfall, and you still have that tornado warned storm until 6:15. That's up again in Camp County, northwestern portion of Upshur County. Just look at the lightning with that storm. So pretty strong storm right now. The Titan indicator we had on it had a medium range rotation. Earlier that rotation was a little bit stronger. So what we're going to want to do, again, I usually like to walk through 3 different steps when we're doing this. We're looking at the reflectivity. That's what you see here. That's the rainfall. Then I like to also check out what's going on inside the storm in terms of hail. But the other thing we can tell by the strength of the storm, we can look at what we call storm relative velocity. Again, $1 million word. All we're doing is we're taking the movement of the storm out, and then we're looking at the way that either the hailstones or the raindrops are moving. When it's red, it's going away from the Shreveport National Weather Service radar site. Out here, you can see the live scan just went through. When it's green, those precipitation particles are moving back toward the radar. So let's zoom in on this a little bit. It looks like it's tightened up just a little bit since the last scan. It was sort of diffuse, and now it has a little better definition to it just to the northwest of Brumley. So please, if you live in Brumley, make sure that you are in your safe place right now and you're staying there. Again, we always tell you, take along something that you can watch or listen to us on the radio. We're often joined by our Alpha Media radio partners, and they'll go along with us as we have the coverage. But the CBS19 mobile app and say a laptop with CBS19.tv, you can stream our coverage, and we'll give you that a look at those storms as they move through here if you have left your room and gone into your safe place, and perhaps it's a sheltered closet or a bathroom. Even bathrooms are good places to go, but let's avoid windows. Okay, we don't want windows in our rooms because if the glass breaks, the glass becomes a flying projectile and can be dangerous. But that's why we always say to take along something to protect your head, because if something does break a window or something like that, and you are sheltered in place and you have flying debris around, you can at least be safer like that. Now, that makes it sound like it's all dire. And again, the reminder here is that this is radar indicated at this time. So it's rotating. The scan that we see here in this part of East Texas from the Shreveport National Radar Site is roughly in about the 3,000 to 4,000 feet. So that's where it's looking. They can look at a little lower elevation, but not clearly enough that they can really see what's happening down there at the surface. And that's where it really depends on Skywarn spotters. Skywarn spotters go to training every year. They're out in the field, they're relaying information, and also the network of ham radio operators also relaying back that information. It's all part of the integrated warning team system, and it all comes together in situations like this to provide a clearer picture of severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings around areas that are currently being warned. All right, so Newsom, it looks like this is past you. So Newsom, you're okay. You can leave your shelter right now. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning, but the part of the cell that is most concerning has moved away from Newsom and toward the Brumley area. All right, so let's go ahead and check the hail on this. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for Camp and Upshur County. That's surrounding the tornado warned area. Still with the hashed lines, that means that a tornado is possible within the hashed lines. But the severe thunderstorm warning for Camp, Morris, Titus, and Upshur County goes until 7 o'clock. Savannah, I'm wondering if they will replace this tornado warning with that severe thunderstorm warning with this tornado tag on it. Meantime, can you scan down to the Longview storm? I have to look at something here. This part of the storm here may be trying to curl up around Gladewater, so we need to keep an eye on that. This looks like, if we go back to the Kilgore camera again, this should be a defined storm here. This should be if you were looking at it from Kilgore, you should have, there's the anvil coming in, there's the lowering. I mean, this is almost the classic thunderstorm. So go back to radar here. A classic looking thunderstorm. And I'll point out a couple of things. So there's air coming out here. So you're getting condensation from the surface. The cooler air is flowing out here, right? That's why that part of the anvil is formed there. Should be some wind flowing back into the inflow here. So let's go back to the radar, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that anvil sends out that wind, cooler air, and then it comes back inside the storm as we go back to CBS19 radar. And I'll give you a look at that on the radar screen. There it is. All right, so cooler air flowing out, being wrapped back into the storm right in here. So the inflow notch is in here. The rotation, now this is just picked up in rotation. We did not see that earlier on this storm. So we're going to stay with this just for a little bit longer because this one could be strengthening, as I showed you, with that inflow notch kind of tightening up, and this back end here, we would look for a tail cloud to form back toward Gladewater, and that would be an indication that we're also getting inflow coming in from the western part of the storm and the southwestern part of the storm. So this is a pretty potent severe thunderstorm. Well, it's not even a severe thunderstorm yet, but I would expect this to next be part of a severe thunderstorm warning in Gregg County. So if you live in Gregg County, you're watching us in Longview, in Gladewater, you're likely getting a very strong thunderstorm at this time. Lots of lightning, lots of heavy rain, and probably the wind picking up. Savannah, let's check the hail on that storm. That's got to be coming up also. It's got, the hail core now, marble-sized hail right on Highway 80 coming into Longview. So that cell, again, moving west to east here. Let's track that hail core for the folks into Longview. You're going to get some marbles blowing into Longview here in about the next 10 to 15 minutes as it moved out of Gladewater. So you've got that headed east, roughly 35 miles an hour. So Longview, in about 3 minutes, marble-sized hail. Hallsville 617, Marshall about 640, Scottsville, and then over toward Jonesville. Did they cancel the tornado warning up to the north? Over in parts of, that was still there. Okay, so we still have the tornado warning until 6:15. This is Upshur County here. There's the city of Gilmer. Gilmer is not inside the tornado warned area, but right on the edge of the severe thunderstorm warning. Right in the heart of Camp County, so very close to the city of Pittsburgh right now. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in on that hail core. As we zoom in on the hail core, we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to check the reflectivity on that cell, so just south of Pittsburgh. And you can see just a little bit of darker blue showing up. So it looks like there might be some quarter-sized hail within that cell. This is just west of 271. So now let's check the velocity on that cell and see what's happening with the winds. And again, that's still rotating there with another severe thunderstorm warning just popping up here. And that might be the one in Gregg County that I just talked about. 271, red going away, green coming in. So there is certainly some rotation here south of Pittsburgh, north of Betty, right in this area. Zoom in just a little bit tighter. So we know we have a lot of folks who live out there along 271. So Pine, Brumley, this thing is right over top of you. I never want anybody to go outside. Especially you need to be sheltered, but there is likely a very low cloud just kind of crossing right over between Pine and Brumley right now toward 271. Savannah, you want to check this severe thunderstorm warning? So that's Harrison and Panola County till 6:45. So that was the cell that was a severe thunderstorm warning earlier, so that's been extended. But it looks like this might even be a new cell. We were looking at the cell that was up toward Bowie County. So this is a new cell. Little hail core right in there northeast of Carthage. That'll cross over into Caddo Parish within the next few minutes. So that one's going to work its way pretty quickly. Go back to the west here along Interstate 20 toward Longview. Still not a severe thunderstorm warning on that cell, but that is a pretty strong cell currently in Longview. And then we had, I think, an extension here of this severe thunderstorm warning, and that does include a portion of Harrison County and Marion County, and then, of course, Cass County, and then more of Upshur County. So what they've done is they have issued that severe thunderstorm warning downstream into those other counties as that cell moves to the east. Savannah, I'm going to toss it over to you. I'm going to check the chat room and see if what the Weather Service is saying about this tornado warning currently in Camp and Upshur.
Worries. It looks like so far they haven't said anything else about the tornado warnings, still just going until 6:15. They did, it looks like, extend that severe thunderstorm watch with that tornado possible tag, and then added that other one as well that's going to move off towards Louisiana, like Brett was saying. But if we are looking down here at this storm in Longview, it looks like we do have some Titan indicators on it saying that there could be a little bit of rotation in that as well that we'll be watching. And it does look like nothing yet in the severe thunderstorm warning there, but let's see if we can get anything on this Titan indicator and just check it out, see if we have anything. Okay, so pretty large hail, like we were saying. Looks like it's definitely hailing out there, and severe hail, meaning that it's over an inch. It's pretty possible, so make sure if you are outside or if you have anything, probably maybe too late to get out there and move it right now, but just be safe, as we do have some large hail that could be possible in this storm. The wind impact could be pretty high with some of this rotation that we might be seeing out there. Again, not tornado warned yet in this storm, and we haven't seen anything quite yet from the National Weather Service about this cell saying that it will be warned. But again, like Brett was saying, looks like a pretty strong cell that we'll continue to watch. Lots of lightning in that storm as well, which means that it could probably have some decent sized hail like we just saw, which was what our Titan indicator was saying. So if we switch over to our hail core, there you can see that that hail core we were looking at earlier has really started dropping a lot larger hail. So it looks like we could be getting up to maybe $half or golf ball sized hail that moved out of the White Oak area right north of Greggton towards Longview as well, right on top of, what is that, Teneryville? So definitely a lot of large hail in the storm for sure. Brett, do you have anything?
Yeah, it looks like that hail core's come up, so that storm certainly has strengthened. And of course, we showed you that rotation strengthening again. It's not warned yet, but the Weather Service may be waiting for some visual confirmation, maybe a picture sent into them. But this at least is estimated to be $half to golf ball sized hail moving right toward the city of Longview, just north of Greggton. There's Highway 80. So if you live anywhere west of Longview, you're about to see some hailstones coming in here. Again, sometimes the radar can overestimate the size of it, but oftentimes, we're looking inside of here, and we have found our hail estimates to be very close to what actually occurs within these thunderstorms. So quarter to half dollar sized hail. I would expect a severe thunderstorm to come out on this cell for Gregg County anytime soon. It may also be included into the southern portions of Upshur County, but then also extended over into Harrison County. So that's that cell that we're looking at this current time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rotation in that cell between Teneryville and Gregton as that moves east. And again, it's pretty loose, so there's not a whole lot to be in terms of a tornado warning concerned about at this time. That's pretty broad rotation, but again, that updraft is strengthening enough that we're seeing some hail cores out of that. Let's go back to reflectivity. We'll see if we get something with that hail starting to really pop up here. If we get something that is called a 3-body scatter strike. I don't see that yet, but that's another $1 million term, right? So the radar beam goes inside the thunderstorm. It hits those hailstones. Remember, they're tumbling, right? They're tumbling as they fall. There it is, severe thunderstorm warning now for Gregg County. They're tumbling as they fall, and so the radar beam sort of gets sent into 3 different directions, right? Back toward the radar, down to the ground, and sometimes down to the south. And so it can look like you're getting some sort of a tornado or a hook echo. And in fact, what it ends up being is what we call an artifact or a bad piece of information just because of the hailstones inside of that. But you can see the purple there. So that hailstone or that hail core there at Longview has come up just a little bit. So now we have this severe thunderstorm warning, and I believe this is for Gregg County and Harrison County, but we don't have a time on that yet. Savannah, can you maybe click on that box and see what the new severe thunderstorm warning inside that? And then we'll go back and talk about the Camp and Upshur tornado warned storm that is still in effect for about another 6 minutes. But and down towards southeast of Marshall, northeast of Carthage, there's another cell there that they're now saying tornado possible tag on that storm. So Longview, Gregg County, severe thunderstorm warning, likely going on if it's about probably till 7 o'clock. So with the severe thunderstorm warned storm down here, it's till 6:45 for parts of Panola and southeastern Harrison County. And then what, 7:15, you think on that cell, 7:15. So new severe thunderstorm warning till 7:15 for Gregg County. And there was some, again, golf ball sized hail possibly inside that. So that seems to be the biggest threat with some very gusty winds. So what we'll do again is investigate the hail core inside that Gregg County storm. And while Savannah gets everything kind of clean, let's take another look outside our Kilgore camera. Again, we are looking to the north, and it looks like from the view here, it looks like that storm is actually moving away from us. So what we were looking at was that that back end anvil that we could see, and that looks like it's kind of moved off maybe farther to the east and given us a view that now we're seeing some clearer skies coming in behind that thunderstorm. All right, so let's go and back to the radar, and there's the hail core northwest of Longview. That is some quarter-sized to half-dollar-sized hail right now just to the west of 259. And let's go back up to the tornado warning. We have about 4 minutes to go on the tornado-warned storm here in Camp County and northern Upshur County. At this time, it looks like as close as that cell is to the end of the warning indicator or the warning box that they are likely going to let this lapse at, or let it just sort of, lapse at 6:15 and then replace that with the severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock. Told you kids we'd be all right. Just radar indicated, right? But still got to take everything seriously. So if you get a little scared and you're a little storm, you have some storm anxiety, that's why we're here. This is what we're doing. We're trying to keep you safe and let you know where those cells are headed. Back to reflectivity, because it probably is pretty loud in Ore City, where the thunder is just off to your northwest. Pittsburgh, you're getting tons of rain right now. A lot of lightning. I mean, this is a lightning show, which we've had a few times so far this spring. If we've had anything, we've had a lot of lightning in East Texas so far this spring. Dangerfield also hearing some approaching rumbles of thunder from the west, so that'll move toward you. And then in Gregg County toward Longview, again, pretty loud when it comes to thunder. We've got in between 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, you've got Marshall toward Oil City. This cell has picked up in intensity. Tyler, look at this. So this is just an indication that lightning can strike as much as 30 miles outside of a thunderstorm. So Longview to Tyler, roughly about 30 miles, right? So look at that lightning strike. There's a lightning strike just in the north side of, maybe up toward Lindale on I-20, and it's likely associated with that thunderstorm in Gregg County. This is why in the summertime, late spring, summertime, when we say when thunder roars, head indoors. Because if there is thunder that you can hear, then that means that that thunderstorm is close enough to produce a lightning strike that would be closer to a severe thunderstorm. And if that happens, that lightning strike can still hurt you, and it is not, it's not anything to be taken lightly for sure. All right, looks like, Savannah, the rotation's tightened up here near Longview on that cell, in that orange area. So that's our tighten indicator. Now going up to, the orange would be about a 7.5. Once we get to the red, it flips over and starts talking about being a tornadic vortex signature. So this is about one step below where the rotation would be strong enough. In fact, right now that tornado impact less than a 1, but there's likely a lot of wind. It's either just downburst wind coming with this, almost up to a 10, hail impact as we showed you, marble-sized hail in parts of Gregg County. So yeah, pretty rough thunderstorm right now. A wind impact close to 10. The flooding impact has really come up. So heavy rainfall, likely quickly ponding on roadways in parts of Gregg County and the city of Longview. This one is sitting right over top Longview right now. So we'll go back to the hail tracker and show you where the hail is moving, likely going to be right into Longview right now, and it is. Again, quarter to $half sized hail now on the west side of Longview. And it's wide enough that this is going to do some damage to cars. This could do some damage to metal roofs, little dings in that, maybe onto a roof itself, though I believe we have to get a little bit higher, bigger than that, maybe $half to golf ball size, but very close to that, and it may be embedded within that whole hail core. There could be some bigger hailstones right now. All right, so is that tornado warning now allowed to, nope, still going on. So we got till 7:15 or 6:15 on that. So severe thunderstorm warning again, Gregg County, that goes until 7:15. So when the tornado warning ends here in about 5 minutes, what we'll do is we will, I'm going to toss it over to Brennan and Mata, and then we'll get a little bit of news. We'll reset our radar, but let me know inside the booth if you guys want us to throw to break or anything like that. Okay, we're going to go right on over to Mata and Brennan here in about 30 seconds, but I want this warning to expire and make sure that they don't reissue downstream on this. Again, these dashed lines here, that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. So what that essentially means is that at some point in this thunderstorm's life, it had rotation strong enough that could produce a tornado warning. But before I do that, now that this warning drops, and it has dropped, we'll keep an eye on this cell here in Longview. If you live in Longview, you're getting some quarter to golf ball sized hail and a stronger rotation. So Mata and Brennan, I may need to come back on with another tornado warning, but for now, I'll toss it over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Brett. That's our Chief Meteorologist, Brett Anthony in Savannah Hill, keeping an eye on the severe weather that's rolling through East Texas right now. And as we continue to track the latest severe weather, make sure to download our CBS19 mobile app. That is free for both Apple and Android devices. We have all the latest weather conditions and updates right there, and that's in the palm of your hand.
Hey, senior prank